I fought and won. Pedro was shocked at the greeting that he got when he returned from church services in Mozambique. "Don't go back to the Seventh-day Adventist church," his sister said. "It's not a good church because it has false prophets. If you go again, you can't live here anymore." Worrisome thoughts filled Pedro's head. Family problems in his hometown, Beira, had forced him to move 700 miles, which is 1,140 kilometers, to his sister's house in Mozambique's capital, Maputo. Because he was new to town, he had missed a few worship services as he searched for an Adventist church. Now he had found a church, worshipped there for the first time, and returned home to find that his sister didn't want him to go again. Pedro prayed and kept going to church. His sister stopped sharing her food with Pedro. She hoped that hunger would cause him to change his mind. But church members gave him food to eat. Pedro thanked God for his care and kept going to church. One Sabbath morning, as he was preparing to leave for church, his sister told him not to return. "Are you still refusing to listen and insisting on going to your church?" she asked. "You don't want to live here anymore because you don't want to comply with the house rules." Pedro was sad but not discouraged. He realized that he wasn't caught in a conflict with his sister, but in a spiritual struggle between Jesus and Satan. He remembered Paul's words in Ephesians chapter 6 verse 12, "For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this age." He went to church and asked the pastor and church members to pray for him. When he returned home later that day, he was kicked out. A friend allowed Pedro to stay with him for 2 nights. Then a church member gave Pedro a job as the caretaker of his house in exchange for room and board. Today, Pedro still works as a house caretaker. He is free to worship God every Sabbath, and he believes that God is working on his sister's heart. Their friendship has been restored, and she no longer insists that he stop going to church on Sabbath. Pedro hopes that one day she will accept the whole Bible truth and learn to appreciate the inspired writings of Ellen White. "I put on the armor of God," he said. "I fought and won, and I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me."